Hi, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. So excited you're here because I'm talking about my Halloween TBR. I am participating in Halloween-a-thon this year, which is hosted by Kelsey at Slime and Slashers. I will link her channel down below as well as her announcement video. It's not competitive, it's just in fun, and it's for Halloween lovers, obviously. It's anybody who enjoys Halloween, it's anybody who enjoys the season. It doesn't have to be spooky books, it can be anything. It could be cozy, it could be YA, it could be middle grade, it could be fantasy, it could be literally any genre, and it doesn't even have to be books. You could just watch movies, you could do Halloween activities, you could do fall activities, you could do crafts, you could do all kinds of different things. They're all different prompts. You could not even follow the prompts if you want. You could, it's very inclusive. It's a lot of fun, and it's hosted on Discord. It's a great event, and it's not competitive, so you don't have to read a certain number, get any points, or keep up with anything. It's just all in fun. So, like I said, all the information will be linked down below, her channel, her announcement video, all those things. Anyhow, this video is dedicated just to the books I'm reading. I will have a video out next Tuesday that will be my like Halloween bucket list, and it will include all the movies I plan on watching, the snacks, all the activities I plan on doing, and all that. Because this video, there's a lot of books, and it's going to be long. I didn't want it to be too long, so I'm splitting it up into 2 videos. Anyhow, the timestamps will be linked down below if you want a certain genre. You know, if you're just here for horror, if you're just here for the cozy vibes, whatever, it will all be linked. So let's get into it. Sorry for the longest intro ever. I only have one that is poetry, and that is Halloween Hearts by Adele Gardner. I think this is such a cute cover, and it's poetry inspired by Ray Bradbury and Edgar Allan Poe, and I just think that is so fun. This also has illustrations. Not every poem has illustrations, but a lot of them do. I'm trying to find a really good one. They're all really spooky and really cute. Look at this one. But I love that some of them have illustrations. It's so fun. And they're all really dark and spooky, and they all remind me, the illustrations really do remind me of Poe. I think they're so fun. So that is my one poetry collection. The next stack of books is all like more cozy spooky. And the first 2 are specifically romance. We have My Halloween Romance by Wendy Dalrymple. I saw this going around last year. I saw multiple people read it, and they all said it was really cute. Wasn't able to get it then, but I was finally able to get a hold of it this year. This one follows, what are their names? This one follows Tabby and Donnie. They're both in their 30s, and you know, they haven't been quite ready to grow up. They're both kind of scare actors on this haunted hike, and they bond over their love of horror movies and their love of Halloween. And yeah, they end up falling in love. I think this is like funny and kind of spooky, and also there's some romance in there, obviously, so it should be really cute. Next up, we have Everything She Does Is Magic by Bridget Morrissey. I love this cover. It's so freaking cute. I love a good LGBTQ romance, and this looks so freaking cute. Darcy Keller, resident ray of sunshine and town spirit princess, loves every moment of Fableview's fall festivities, but she's also really ready to leave for college next year, even though her parents expect her to stay and take over their Halloween empire. Enter brooding new girl, Anya Doyle, a real-life witch and almost a full member of her coven. To be initiated, she has to choose a mortal ally to act as her protector. But having moved around so much, Anya is completely friendless. So she does what any self-respecting teenage almost witch would do. She lies and tells her coven that her secret crush Darcy is willing to do the job. The solution? Work together, of course. The girls agree to help each other out, attending everything from a costume parade to a pumpkin patch party to an apple bobbing contest together. But with Anya's magical powers and Darcy's future independence on the line, the last thing they need is the added complication of pesky feelings. oh my gosh, that sounds so freaking cute. With all the like Halloween festivities and then the magical elements, the witchy elements. Oh, it sounds so freaking cute. The next one is just a witchy read. Doesn't sound like this is going to be a romance, just a cozy witchy read. And that is The Late Night Witches by Auralee, Wallace. And this looks really cute. Cassie Beckett's life is anything but magical. With a wild younger sister, 3 unruly kids, and an absent husband, she's really not looking forward to the witching month of October. At least the gorgeous, foggy Prince Edward Island is always quiet. That is, until the vampires arrive. Oh. As the creatures sink their teeth into Cassie's tenuous grip on normalcy, she's forced to come face to face with long disregarded family secrets. The legacy gifts her with power, but also a lofty responsibility. Rid the island of vampires or let them win. Both options suck in more ways than one. Armed with her family, newfound friends, and a baby in a spectacularly garlicky onesie, Cassie must learn what it is to be a witch and how to fight for what she loves before time runs out. Because on Halloween night, the stakes will be higher than ever before, and it's up to Cassie to finish what the witches that came generations before her started. Okay, we have witches and vampires. Excellent, excellent combination. Next up, we have a graphic novel, and that is Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Powell and Faith Erin Hicks. And yes, I've been wanting this forever. This follows Deja and Josiah. They've worked at this same pumpkin patch every year. And, you know, every season, they just work the season, and then at the end of the season, they say their goodbyes and they go back to their normal lives. Well, this is their last season working at the pumpkin patch. It's their senior year of high school. And they've decided to really enjoy the season and enjoy all the festivities and just really live it up this season. It says, what if their last shift was an adventure? And that just sounds really, really cute and really festive. And I was looking at the art in here, and it is very autumnal and just, oh, the colors are so perfect. It's full of plaid. I just don't want to give anything, but I'll show you a page at the beginning. But look how it's very autumnal and plaid and orange, and it just looks really cute. So, I mean, the cover too. And then the last of the cozy set of books is a cozy mystery, a murder mystery, and that is Death Overdue by Allison Brook. I've been wanting this for a while, but it was kind of pricey. I got this for $5. I found it used. So yeah, and I love the cover. I think it's super cute. We have like a library or a bookstore with this little pumpkin pail and these pumpkin balloons and everything. It's very Halloween. Carrie Singleton is just about done with Clover Ridge, Connecticut, until she's offered a job as the head of programs and events at the spooky local library, complete with its own librarian ghost. Her first major event is a program presented by retired homicide detective Al Buckley, who claims he knows who murdered Laura Foster, a library aide who was bludgeoned to death 15 years earlier. As he invites the audience to share stories about Laura, he suddenly keels over and dies. Goodness. The medical examiner reveals that he was poisoned, and Carrie feels responsible for having surged forward the program despite pushback from her director. Driven by guilt, Carrie's determined to discover who murdered the detective, convinced it's the same man who killed Laura all those years ago. Luckily for Carrie, she has a friendly, knowledgeable ghost by her side. But as she questions the shadows surrounding Laura's case, disturbing secrets come to light, and with each step Carrie takes, she gets closer to ending up like Al. Okay. Well, people are just dropping life flies all over the place in this one. But it sounds really cute and fun. And now we get to the scary stuff, the more spooky stuff. I have 2 physical books. I wasn't able to buy a lot this year. And the ones that I did buy, I had a gift card. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Fetch app, but I have this app called Fetch app, and basically I scan receipts of anything I buy. Fuel, groceries, any Amazon things automatically go in there. Walmart, whatever, like it automatically scans my email for receipts and everything. Well, anyways, it goes toward points, and then I can also play games. Well, once my points get to a certain number, I can like redeem it and get gift cards. And there's all different retailers. Well, I just use Amazon because that's how I'm able to get books. And I cashed it in to get my Halloween books. So if you're wondering, that's how I was able to get all my Halloween books. And I got as many as I possibly could. And then anything I possibly could get on Kindle Unlimited, I got first. As many as I possibly could. And anything I couldn't get on Kindle Unlimited, I got physicals of. And then some I was able to get from the library. So I was very creative with how I was able to do it this year. On Fetch, I'm not an affiliate or anything, but if you use my link, I get 2,000 points and you also get 2,000 points if you use my link, and I will put it in the description. Just throwing that out there. Like I said, I'm not an affiliate. I don't get money for it or anything. I just get points, and you get 2,000 points also if you use my link. But it's really cool. It's a good way to get free books or free whatever. There's all kinds of retailers you can use, not just Amazon. There's all kinds of retailers. There's restaurants and coffee and like all kinds of things you can redeem your points for. So anyways, I'll put my link if you want to. But that's how I've been able to get books. That's the only way I can get books right now is through Fetch. And it's really helped me out a lot. But you can play games on there too and redeem points with games. The games go toward points too, and it adds up actually faster than you would think. I've even used receipts for doctor bills, like when I paid my doctors. I've even gotten a receipt for that and scanned it, and it accepts it. So it's pretty amazing. Anyhow, one of these books is one I've had. It was sent to me by the author, and that is Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. There's this house called Finch House, and it is very haunted, and it's been closed up. But on Halloween night, there are some authors who have been invited to stay in the house for Halloween night. And yeah, it's supposed to be like a publicity stunt, but things go awry. And they end up, fighting for survival. It says the entity they have awakened will follow them, torment them, threatening to make them a part of the bloody legacy of Kill Creek. Sounds super creepy. And I've been meaning to read this, and this is the perfect time. The other physical book I have, and this one looks so cool, and I kept seeing it everywhere, and that is Helloween by Duncan Ralston. Look at this cover. Now, this one is very chunky to read for October, but I have seen great reviews on this, so I think it'll be worth it. How many pages is this thing? It's also pretty small print. 570 pages, but like I said, I've seen really great reviews, and I think it'll be worth it. On October 31st, 2001, 5 teens set out to make a horror film for a school project at a Halloween haunt in the small town of Crook's Corner. When all hell breaks loose, a powerful entity emerges, able to control inanimate objects and use them to kill. The carnage is swift and deadly, a vicious attack that quickly overwhelms the town and its citizens. Fighting for their lives, the teens, along with their teachers and their local sheriff, must use all of their skills and wit to survive the night and possibly even save the world, or die trying. Yeah, sounds really creepy, sounds really good. Like I said, I've seen really good reviews on this, and so I knew I had to have it. Now, the rest of these I've had to get through Kindle Unlimited. Like I've either had to buy the cheaper copy on Kindle Unlimited, or if it was available for free on Kindle Unlimited, or I've had to get from the library, because that's all I was able to get with my gift card. I told you I've been very creative and I don't mind. Okay, so we have the first one is Jack by R.P. Howley and Daniel Willcocks. And it says, a town steeped in tradition, a festival built on hope, a legend that refuses to die. Charlie Clark never wanted to visit Brackenholt, a secluded town in the middle of nowhere. She never wanted to spend a weekend picking pumpkins. She never wanted to leave the city behind. But her fiancé and twin brother had other ideas. They promised her countryside charm, crisp air, and a weekend of peace. What they got was something else entirely. The town is too quiet. The villagers whisper the legend of Jack, and as Halloween approaches, Brackenholt's strange harvest ritual take a terrifying turn. Charlie soon realizes the festival isn't about celebration, it's about the feast, and Jack is hungry. Ooh, this sounds nice and creepy. This one is really cool because I know you've seen book advent calendars where you read a chapter a day and, leading up to a certain event. And this one is you read a chapter a day through October, starting October 1st. And it's called The 31st Trick-or-Treater, and it's by Ben Farthing. Now, there is a Facebook group for this one as well. It's called The 31st Trick-or-Treater Read-Along Group. And every day there will be a daily discussion of each chapter, which is, I love that. And what's really cool about this, it's set in Virginia. And he says if you live around Virginia, it's going to be even more realistic. Like, the turning of the season will be happening both in and out of the book. So if you live around Virginia, it would be even more perfect. I live in Texas. That's not going to be happening for me. But another cool thing is that even the moon phases will match. So even the moon phases in the book will match what's happening in real life. I think that's a genius. That's just perfection. He really went all out to make this a whole experience. This is supposed to be super creepy. I don't know exactly what the premise is in the book and what exactly is going on with the characters, what the plot is. I just know it's supposed to be pretty creepy. And you're reading a chapter a day leading all the way up to Halloween. That's really all I know. I haven't seen any spoilers with this because nobody, of course, has read it because everybody's waiting for October 1st. I just know it's supposed to be pretty good, and that's really all I know about it. And that I love that there's a Facebook group and there's this whole scene surrounding it, and that it's supposed to be this whole atmosphere has been created to emulate real life as much as possible as you're reading it. I just think it's absolutely genius what he's done with this. Next one, this one I did get a physical copy of this, but it's not here yet. So I actually did get this from Amazon. It's just taken a while to get here. And that is Midnight Horror Show by Ben Lathrop. So I've seen great reviews for this. It's got pretty high rating and it's supposed to be really amazing. It says it's end of October 1985 and the crumbling river town of Du Bois, Iowa is shocked by the gruesome murder of one of the pillars of the community. Detective David Carlson has no motive, no evidence, and only one lead, the macabre local legend of Boris Orloff, a late-night horror movie host who burned to death during a stage performance at the drive-in on Halloween night 20 years ago, and the teenage loner obsessed with keeping his memory alive. The body count is rising, and the darkness that hangs over the town grows by the hour. Time is running out as Carlson desperately chases shadows into a nightmare world of living horrors. On Halloween, the drive-in reopens at midnight for a show no one will ever forget. I love that this whole thing, is surrounding a drive-in. That is so cool, so retro. Yes. I've heard this is like a must-read Halloween book. Next is It's Always Halloween Here by Matt Forgit. This one is set in Doran, Massachusetts. What an excellent setting for Halloween. What an excellent setting for anything fall-related, actually. This is about a haunted house. Loretta, she happens to be visiting this town for her cousin's wedding, and while there, she and a group of her friends decide to visit a haunted house. This haunted house is actually called the Faulkner House, and it is no joke. Apparently, this house actually feeds on souls. It's really creepy. A lot of really crazy things are happening here. It says, It's Always Halloween Here is a chilling haunted house tale soaked in nostalgia, urban legend, and terror of Halloween night. And also, I absolutely love this cover. Then we have Trick or Treat by Richie Tankersley Cusick. I just want to throw in a little bit of nostalgia. I used to freaking love Richie Tankersley Cusick. Like, this was my thing back whenever I was a teen, a young, preteen, I guess you could say. I was really young when I was reading Richie Tankersley Cusick. I don't remember if this is one that I have read or not, but I really want to get into this. It says, exactly 1 year ago on Halloween night, Elizabeth Bedford had been murdered in the very same room now occupied by Martha. And now, after receiving threatening phone calls, Martha is scared out of her wits. Doesn't that sound fun? We have a short story collection, and that is Spooky Halloween by A.G. Horrors. It says, each tale has roots in something real, an event, a place, or a rumor that refused to die. Halloween isn't just a holiday, it's a reminder that sometimes the masks come off, and what's left is far more terrifying than we imagined. Doesn't that sound perfect? Then we have The Witch of Halloween House by Jeff DeGordick. There's an old house on the hill called the Halloween House, and apparently years and years before, they'd all accused this mysterious old woman of being a witch. And everybody got so freaked out, and the rumors got so out of hand that the townspeople burned the house down with the old woman in it. And her last words were, "A curse on all of you." Well, it's 3 years later, and now all this spooky stuff is happening. Kids are coming up missing. The only clue to their disappearance is a gingerbread man left on the windowsill of the kids that are missing. This girl, Carmen, is left in charge of her little brother. She's supposed to be taking him trick-or-treating, and she doesn't want him to become the next victim. The whole town's freaking out because all these kids are coming missing, and they're like, could it be the witch? But she's already dead, right? So it's like a whole thing. Everybody's just freaking out. Fear really does bring out the worst in people, right? This one, I've seen everybody read this the last couple years. My library actually has it, and it is Small Spaces by Katherine Arden. And I've heard this is like middle grade, I think, but it's supposed to be really creepy for middle grade. It's supposed to be really spooky. It says, after suffering a tragic loss, 11-year-old Ollie only finds solace in books. So when she happens upon a crazed woman at the river threatening to throw a book into the water, Ollie doesn't think, she just acts, stealing the book and running away. As she begins to read the slender volume, Ollie discovers a chilling story about a girl named Beth, the two brothers who both loved her, and a peculiar deal made with the Smiling Man, a sinister specter who grants your most tightly held wish, but only for the ultimate price. Ollie is captivated by the tale until her school trip the next day to Smoke Hollow, a local farm with a haunting history all its own. There she stumbles upon the graves of the very people she's been reading about. Could it be the story about the Smiling Man is true? Ollie doesn't have too long to think about the answer to that. On the way home, the school bus breaks down, sending their teacher back to the farm for help. But the strange bus driver has some advice for the kids left behind in his care. Best get moving. At nightfall, they'll come for the rest of you. Nightfall is indeed fast descending when Ollie's previous broken digital wristwatch, a keepsake reminder of better times, begins a startling countdown and delivers a terrifying message. Run. Only Ollie and two of her classmates heed the bus driver's warning. As the trio head into the woods, bordered by a field of scarecrows that seem to be watching them, the bus driver has just one final piece of advice for Ollie and her friends. Avoid large places, keep to small. And with that, a deliciously creepy and hair-raising adventure begins. Ooh, even the synopsis sounds creepy. I've heard great things about this. I know several people who have read it and said that it's really good. Next we have Old Dark Houses by Tyler James. Beware the Dark Three. Bannatyne House lurks in the east, Morton Manor lies in the west, and the legendary Valency Mansion looms beyond the north woods. All are fated for immediate demolition. That is until Charles Valency, a vengeful and vainglorious ghost, returns from the grave to preserve what is rightfully his. The Valency Mansion. On Halloween night, he creates a glorious supernatural effulgence to beam from out every window of the houses. Tragically, trick-or-treaters are drawn like moths to flame, soon lost inside the houses. All the little devils and demons, witches and warlocks, ghosts and ghouls are sapped of youth. Their flesh wrinkles and sags, their hearts slow, and their memories fade. Meanwhile, the Dark Three refurbish themselves into Gothic perfection. Decrepit walls stand a little taller. Fractured windows miraculously mend into polished glass. The old dark houses return to life. Even growing brains, hearts, and harboring blood beneath their faded Victorian wallpaper. Concerned parents flood the streets, and police arrive with battered rams. Yet no window shall break, and no door shall unlock. Now it is up to local town historian Patty Keepwell to team up with her neighbors in the desperate attempt to rescue the children of Sweet Hollow. Old Dark Houses is a love letter to Halloween, so put on your mask and makeup and open wide your candy bags. You're in for a treat and many a trick. well, that sounds weird and it sounds very unique. And wow. Yeah, that one got my attention because it just sounded like something unlike anything I've ever read before. We have The Last Haunt by Max Booth III. This one, I think, maybe based on a true story or something, to my understanding. The reviews aren't crazy high, but it sounded like something so weird and creepy that I have to read it. On the 1-year anniversary of a young woman's tragic death, an extreme haunted house attraction reopened its doors to the public. What happened next would forever traumatize a small Texas town. The Last Haunt is an attempt to make sense of the mysterious brutality that occurred on that fateful Halloween night. Constructed from interviews with the survivors, this oral history is the closest anyone has ever come to documenting the truth behind the McKinley Manor massacre. Yeah. I don't know if that's based on a true story or not. Just from the reviews and stuff I was reading, I was like, is this based on a true story or what? Because like the way they made it sound. And it's in interview form, which is interesting. Next we have another short story collection, which is October Nights by Kevin Lucia. This one looks really good and really interesting. And I believe there are 4 short stories in this one. And they all sound really creepy. And then we have another short story collection, which is October's End. And this one is, I believe, 3 authors, and there are 3 short stories in this. And the authors are Kevin Lucia, Jeremy Bates, and Jason Parent. If you remember, last year I read a short story collection by Jason Parent, and they were all amazing. I mean, it was one of the best short story collections I've ever read. It was excellent. So I'm really excited to read this. I bet it's really good. Okay, we have an extreme horror, and that is Scary Bastard by Erin Beauregard. The things I've read by this author have been really messed up. So, and yeah, I read a short story collection, either, was it earlier this year? I can't keep up with the days anymore, the months or whatever. I don't even know what month. I don't remember when it was that I read that one, but it was hit or miss in the short story collection. This is a whole, all one story, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I wish I could have got the actual book, but I wasn't able to because I was out of money. But it says this book includes non-horrifying illustrations to guide you through the terror. I don't know if that would be on the Kindle one, because I got this on Kindle. So I don't know if I'm able to get the illustrations or not. I hope so, because his illustrations are usually really interesting and really gross. It says, what do a child killer, a hopeful special effects artist, a duo of budding teen psychopaths, a student screwing teacher, and a mutated maniac with his lower jaw missing have in common? They're all out this Halloween. How will their paths cross? Who's killing who? Can anyone survive the bloodbath, or are they all destined to drown in a pool of warm red? This slasher nightmare gives you a seat beside the killer, but don't get too comfortable. There's a scary bastard on the loose. Okay. It sounds to me like that's all one story, unless they're a bunch of short stories that somehow link together. I'm not sure which one it is. And then, I wanted to give you some other ideas of books that I have already read that I really, really highly recommend for Halloween. And I'm only going to give you 3 because I know this is going to be a long video. The first one is a short story collection, and that is Autumncrow by Cameron Chaney. Excellent. This will remain one of my favorites. And this is a short story collection, and all of them take place in the town of Autumncrow, where it's Halloween all year. Nice and spooky. I like that they all have that theme in common with the town, and they all have sort of a little connection. And I freaking love this so much. My brother is not a reader at all. My brother, like he used to hate reading, and one day he like saw me reading books, and he saw me like how much I loved it, and he was like, hey, recommend me a book. And this is the one I gave him, and this got him into reading. He loved it so much, he devoured it and said, hey, what can I read next? And of course I said, well, obviously you have to read Autumncrow High Fresh Hell. And yeah, he loved both of them. So this is the one that got him into reading. This is the one. So if that tells you anything, it's excellent. It's spooky. It's fall vibes. It's got the Halloween vibes. It's got the nostalgic vibes. It's got creep factors there, and I love it so much. I can't recommend this enough. I should have brought it in here, but there's also now an illustrated version, and I have it as well, and I love it. I have the hardcover, but there's also a paperback version of the illustrated, and I love it. It's excellent. And yeah, as soon as he put out that edition, I had to have it too. But it's great. Another one, this is another short story collection, and that is Mischief Not Massacre by Jason Parent. There's not a common theme aside from Halloween, but it is a very well curated collection. They just flow together, if that makes sense. They go really well together somehow. They're all very atmospheric. They're all very spooky. He did a great job of setting the scene. And I don't know how he does it, but he's able to create this sense of dread in a very short story. And I don't know how he's able to do that in so few pages. I've never seen that happen before. But yeah, this is a really good short story collection. I loved every single one of them. And I've never had that happen. Both this one and Autumncrow, I loved every single story in it. Usually there's at least 1 or 2 stories in a short story collection that bring the average down. Both of these, I loved every single story in them. So this one's really good as well. Last one is an actual novel, not a short story collection, and that is Apartment 5 is Alive by Russell Atwood. And this is about an apartment. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give anything away. But this is about an apartment who has its own ideas about things, especially Halloween. That's all I'm going to say. Just know that the apartment is a character. And it's excellent. This is weird, it's quirky, and yeah, I read this probably 3 years ago, and it is still in my brain, and I don't think it's ever going to get out of my brain. It's excellent. So yeah, those are all the books. Those are all the books I'm reading. Those are the 3 that I would recommend that I've already read. And let me know down in the comments, what are you most excited to read this Halloween? I would love to know. And next Tuesday, okay, you're getting 2 videos next week. Next Tuesday, you're getting my Halloween bucket list, and that's going to include the movies I'm watching, the activities I'm doing, including crafts. You're getting the recipes I plan on making. You're getting all the snacks I got, all the places I'll plan on going for the Halloween season. You're getting all those things. And then next Friday, you are getting my Halloween decorating vlog. It's going to be cozy and spooky, and you're gonna see how all the decorations look in my home. And I can't wait. I can't wait to get them all out, and I can't wait to show you. So I will see you on Tuesday. Bye for now.